As old age approaches, the body often begins to send subtle signals, signaling that a new chapter in life is gradually closing. These changes may not be immediately apparent, but if we pay attention, we can recognize important signs that help us prepare mentally and care for our loved ones appropriately. It is worth mentioning that many people often ignore these signals, considering them a natural part of the aging process. However, understanding and recognizing these signs early not only helps us be more proactive in care, but also creates opportunities to enjoy precious moments with loved ones. During the final stages of life, the body and mind of the elderly often undergo profound changes. These changes can start from a gradual decrease in energy, mobility, or even a change in the way they interact with the world around them. Sometimes these signs appear silently, making it difficult for us to notice them until they become more obvious. Early recognition not only helps us make appropriate care decisions, but also brings peace and comfort to loved ones in their final days. Understanding these signs also helps us avoid surprise and pain when faced with the fact that we don't have much time left with our loved ones. Instead of focusing on prolonging life at all costs, we can aim to create meaningful moments, ensuring that our loved ones live in love, respect, and peace. This is not only a way for us to express our gratitude and deep affection, but also a way to help our loved ones feel appreciated and not alone in their final journey of life. One of the first and most recognizable signs in the last year of an elderly person's life is the obvious change in physical health and well-being. This is manifested not only through unintentional weight loss, but also through the gradual weakening of bodily functions. The body begins to lose the ability to absorb nutrients effectively, leading to energy deficiency and decreased resistance. These changes are often accompanied by muscle loss, causing the elderly to become weak and have difficulty performing daily activities. This physical change not only affects the health, but also has a profound impact on the spirit and emotions of the elderly. They may feel tired, depressed, and lose interest in things that once brought joy. This leads to withdrawal, less interaction with relatives and society, creating a vicious cycle between physical and mental weakness. Furthermore, physical weakness also increases the risk of infections and slow wound healing, closely linked to the fourth sign. When the body no longer has enough strength to cope with external factors, common diseases can also become more serious. At the same time, fatigue and weakness also lead to changes in breathing and circulation, such as slowed breathing and colder limbs associated with the fifth sign. Early recognition of these changes allows us to adjust care, focusing on providing appropriate nutrition, creating a comfortable environment, and providing emotional support so that our loved ones feel loved and appreciated in their final days of life. Another important sign in the last year of an elderly person's life is persistent fatigue and exhaustion, which does not improve even with adequate rest. This is not ordinary fatigue after a day of work or lots of activity, but a state of profound weakness, deeply rooted in every cell of the body. Seniors can feel exhausted even when doing simple tasks like walking around the house, bathing, or even talking. This fatigue stems from the body gradually switching to energy conservation mode. Functional organs such as the heart, lungs, and circulatory system work less effectively, causing the body to no longer have enough strength to maintain daily activities. This is also closely related to the first sign, where physical weakness and muscle loss reduce mobility and endurance. Furthermore, prolonged fatigue also seriously affects the mental and emotional health of the elderly. They may feel helpless, depressed, and lose motivation to participate in social activities or personal hobbies. This leads to withdrawal and isolation, closely linked to the third sign of impaired cognition and social interaction. Exhaustion also increases the risk of Infections and slows wound healing because the body no longer has the strength to fight off pathogens. At the same time, it also contributes to changes in breathing and circulation, making it more difficult for the elderly to breathe and less effective in blood circulation, related to the fifth sign. Early recognition of this fatigue and exhaustion helps us adjust our care, focusing on creating a comfortable environment, reducing pressure, and supporting our loved ones in daily activities. More importantly, the presence and love of family will help them feel comforted and appreciated in their final days of life. Another notable sign in the last year of an elderly person's life is cognitive decline and the tendency to withdraw from social activities. This is not just ordinary forgetfulness, but a gradual process when the elderly begin to lose the ability to remember, concentrate, and process information. They may forget names of loved ones, get confused about time or place, or even be unable to follow simple conversations. This cognitive decline is often accompanied by social withdrawal and withdrawal. Elderly people may become quiet, interacts less with relatives and friends, and even give up hobbies or activities that once brought them joy. This is not because they no longer care about the people around them, but because the brain is no longer capable of processing and responding to environmental stimuli. This withdrawal is closely related to the second sign of fatigue and exhaustion. As the body weakens and energy is depleted, the elderly often feel overwhelmed when participating in social or communication activities. At the same time, cognitive decline also increases the risk of infections, as the elderly may not be aware of signs of illness or not comply with preventive measures related to the fourth sign. Furthermore, cognitive decline also affects breathing and circulation, as the elderly may not be aware of respiratory or blood circulation problems, leading to rapid deterioration in health related to the fifth sign. Early recognition of this cognitive decline and withdrawal helps us adjust our communication and care style, focusing on creating a safe, comfortable, and emotionally supportive environment for our loved ones. Patience, love, and understanding will help them feel appreciated and not lonely in their final days. Another important sign in the last year of an elderly person's life is frequent infections and slow wound healing. As the body enters the final stages of life, the immune system weakens significantly, making it easier for the elderly to contract infections such as pneumonia, urinary tract infections, or skin ulcers. These diseases often recur continuously and are difficult to completely treat, leading to a vicious cycle of health deterioration. Slow wound healing is also a notable sign. Small cuts, scrapes, or even bed sores can take weeks or months to heal. This is because blood circulation is inefficient and the body no longer has enough energy to regenerate new cells. This weakness is closely related to the first sign of weight loss and muscle loss, when the body no longer has enough nutrients to support the recovery process. Furthermore, infection and delayed wound healing also increase fatigue and exhaustion, which are related to the second sign. Elderly people may feel more exhausted as their bodies constantly have to fight infections, leading to both physical and mental weakness. Immune system weakness also affects cognition, as the elderly may become confused or disoriented due to infections related to the third sign. At the same time, the infection can also worsen respiratory and circulatory problems, making it harder for the elderly to breathe and have less efficient blood circulation, related to the fifth sign. Early recognition of infection and slow wound healing helps us be more proactive in care, focusing on cleanliness, providing adequate nutrition, and creating a comfortable environment to support the recovery process. More importantly, the presence and love of family will help loved ones feel comforted and appreciated in their final days of life. The last and one of the most obvious signs in the last year of an elderly person's life is a major change in breathing and circulation. These changes often appear gradually, but become increasingly obvious, signaling that the body is gradually moving into the final stages of life. Regarding respiration, the elderly may begin to breathe shallowly, slowly, or irregularly. At times, their breathing may be intermittent, with long pauses between breaths, known as Cheney-Stokes respiration. This is a natural reaction of the body when functional organs begin to weaken. Elderly people may also feel short of breath, especially when lying down, and often need support with pillows or chairs to feel more comfortable. Regarding circulation, blood circulation in the body becomes ineffective, leading to cold hands and feet, pale or even bluish skin, especially in the fingertips and toes. This is because the body is prioritizing blood supply to vital organs such as the heart and brain instead of the limbs. These changes are closely related to previous signs. Respiratory and circulatory weakness increases fatigue and exhaustion, making it difficult for the elderly to perform daily activities related to the second sign. At the same time, lack of oxygen and poor blood circulation also affect cognition, causing the elderly to become confused or disoriented, related to the third sign. Furthermore, respiratory and circulatory weakness also increases the risk of infections because the body no longer has the strength to cope with pathogens, related to the fourth sign. Early recognition of changes in breathing and circulation helps us adjust care, focusing on creating a comfortable environment, supporting breathing, and keeping the body warm for our loved ones. More importantly, the presence and love of family will help them feel comforted and appreciated in their final days of life. Life is a journey, and its final stages often bring subtle but profound changes. For the elderly, these changes are not only a sign of aging, but also a message from the body, signaling that there is not much time left with loved ones. Recognizing these signs early not only helps us prepare mentally, but also creates opportunities to love, care for, and create meaningful moments in the last days of a loved one's life. One of the first changes that may be noticed is physical deterioration. Seniors may become weaker, making it difficult to perform daily activities that they once did easily. This not only affects their health, but also affects their spirit when they feel they lose independence and confidence. This weakness also increases the risk of infections and slows wound healing, making the body more vulnerable. Besides, fatigue and exhaustion are also important signs. Elderly people may feel exhausted even when performing simple tasks. This fatigue is not only a physical problem, but also affects the mind when they become withdrawn and less interactive with loved ones. This leads to isolation and increases the risk of cognitive decline as they gradually lose the ability to remember and process information. Cognitive decline is another sign that needs attention. Seniors may become confused, disoriented, and have difficulty following conversations. This not only affects the ability to communicate, but also increases the risk of infections when they are not aware of signs of illness or do not comply with preventive measures. Finally, changes in breathing and circulation are also important signs. Elderly people may breathe shallowly, slowly, or irregularly, and their hands and feet may become colder due to ineffective blood circulation. These changes signal that the body is gradually moving into the final stages of life. Recognizing these signs early helps us adjust our care, focusing on creating a comfortable, emotionally supportive environment and ensuring that our loved ones live in love, respect, and peace. This is not only a way for us to express our gratitude and deep affection, but also a way to help our loved ones feel appreciated and not alone in their final journey of life. If you want to follow valuable lessons from the elderly and not miss any videos from the Life Lessons from Elders channel, subscribe to the channel today. Clicking the subscribe button not only helps you stay updated with the latest content, but also allows you to join a community of people who love to share and learn from the life experiences of older people. Don't forget to hit the notification bell to get notified as soon as a new video is released. This will help you easily access valuable knowledge and lessons, thereby applying them to your daily life. Let's explore together the values and knowledge that our predecessors have accumulated over the years so that we can live a more meaningful and fulfilling life.